What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Geeks and Company, another episode of the After Show. That's right, we are back. We're talking about Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 6. We had to cut ourselves off and start recording because we were going into the conversation without even, recording, and we would have just talked for an hour. This might be a little bit longer than usual, folks, just because today's episode was Easter egg filled. It was reference filled. Like Jeff told me a little bit earlier, it even was a little bit emotional.
Oh, it did.
Specifically in that one scene. How you doing, Jeff? Are you okay?
No, sir.
No, you're not okay. No,
not okay.
We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Folks, before we get started, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please take a second. Click that subscribe button. It's completely free. And if you click the notification bell, it'll make sure you never miss any time we upload. Now, our upload schedule is a little bit all over the place this last week and this week. It was Toronto Comic Con for us, so we're a little bit all over the place. We're trying to get back to normal. Can we start at the beginning? First of all, the first scene of the episode confused me a little bit because you could see that the Titan is dropping buoys, right? And to distract people or to mask their warp trail or whatever it is, right? Yes. And then you see 3 Federation ships show up. Right. One looks to be a Constellation class, not a Constellation class, the Enterprise E.
Sovereign class?
Sovereign class, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
One seems to be a Sovereign class Starship that warps in. Yep. I love the new warping sound, by the way, when they warp in and out.
Nice. By the way, you can thank Discovery for that. That's the Discovery warping.
It is. It's fantastic.
It's very good.
The sound effects are amazing.
It's funny how they it's funny how they blend some of the news because they use a very old energized transporter sound effect.
They do.
Later in the episode, like old school. I was like,
yeah. Old school transporter sound effect. But anyway, I was a little bit confused at the first scene when you see these 3 ships come out, and then you see the buoy, and then you see the Shriek or the Shrike or whatever it's called, and it's like, okay, but are they all together? Like, are all 4 ships at the same one? Or it sure made it feel that way, that it's in the open now. They're just working with the Federation.
Yes,
right.
I think once they turned on Ro, I think that was like the key note.
That was a breaking point, right?
Like, we've unzipped our fly. It's on. And again, for whatever reason, both Jack Crusher and Jean-Luc Picard are still the keys to whatever's going on, which we do find out a piece of that at the end of the episode. But anyways.
But right after that scene, we jump into Crusher talking to Picard in sickbay and telling him that the reason Jack came to me and he's having these waking dreams and hallucinations and he's acting weird and he's got Irumodic syndrome. That's like, okay, that's fine. I can see it. He's having hallucinations, and Picard was starting to get those hallucinations when we found out he had Irumodic syndrome. How the fuck does that explain him turning into John Wick for like 5 seconds and taking out 4 changelings?
No. That's the red herring part of it. I don't know how those 2 things correlate, but yeah, that's clearly not. I don't know. I don't want to speculate because I don't want to inadvertently spoil stuff, because we have some of the things we talked about have actually come to pass, and we were right on some of them and we were wrong on others, but clearly that's not whatever it is that it is. That's not the case, right?
It's not.
So no,
it cannot be. I mean, maybe he does have Irumodic syndrome. Fine. Something else is going on.
Yeah, there's something else that's definitely triggered, because Picard wasn't like a drooling basket case of hallucinations even at the height of when he had that Irumodic syndrome. So that's clearly not. I don't know how they're piecing those 2 things. And not to mention, Jean-Luc had it literally for decades before it had any kind of an effect on him. And now Jack's like a wig boat at 24. No. There's something else going on for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be. There has to be.
For sure.
And then finally, Worf and Raffi finally make their way to the Titan.
They do.
So that was a fun scene too.
Yes.
The next one as well was a good scene when the next person comes onto the Titan, but this one was good for me. Worf has always been one of my favorites in TNG, so seeing him finally reuniting and the Riker picking at him on the base at the Daystrom station.
Yeah.
And Worf basically tells him, "Dude, I grew up, man. Like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, like why
that's
didn't
not what
you?"
he says, but yeah, why didn't you?
Yeah.
It's basically what he tells him in
Yeah.
Worf words, right? I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. Worf is still like, I see you still find humor. You use humor to mask your discomfort, and you find humor in others' discomfort still. And like, yeah, he's still Riker. What do you want?
Yeah. So I thought that was funny. Man, I don't know how deep we want to go this quick early in the episode.
It all came in. Like, what do you want to do? Like we normally don't do the episodes chronologically anyway. Like what hit you? What hit you? I mean,
so I gotta say, so we said it, I think, in our first episode that we thought that Moriarty potentially had a bigger purpose in this, or maybe he has a bigger purpose. Maybe he's just a red herring. We did find out in this episode that he is just a red herring.
A very cool one.
And Moriarty, a very cool one.
Yep.
Amazing cameo.
Yeah.
The cameo game on this show is on fucking point.
I'm actually kind of surprised that they gave him away in the trailer a little bit. That's because they kept Ro a secret. I'm kind of like, it definitely works as red herring because we all speculated there was going to be a big, huge Moriarty thing, and there was nothing of the kind. He was just a projection based on what they really kind of got us with, though, is who the android is, because the android is not what any of us thought the android was.
No, and that I have a bit of an issue with. I'm not going to lie.
Fair. Okay, before we get there, though.
Okay, yes.
We got to talk about Geordi. I'm sorry. We finally.
Okay, let's talk about Geordi first. Okay.
We finally get Geordi on the goddamn show. So just
Geordi's
so you
finally
guys
there.
know. So a couple fun little Easter eggs that happened within there. So his daughters are named Sydney and Alondra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those were his daughters' names in the final episode of TNG, All Good Things.
Yes.
When Picard goes to the alternate future, those were his two daughters' name. His one daughter that's with him in the museum is his actual daughter, played by his actual real life daughter.
Oh, I thought it was the other one, the one that's on the Titan.
No, it's the one that's actually physically with him, Alondra.
Okay.
That's his actual daughter in real life. The other gal is not. But just some fun little Easter eggs there. But and again, we called it. Geordi was going to come on board, and Geordi was going to be kind of like a bit of a foil, and Geordi was going to be like, "You're putting my daughter in danger." Not fucking cool, Jean-Luc.
Yeah.
Not having that, not helping you. Just give me my kid and get the fuck out of here and figure it out. And finally, it took his youngest daughter to be like, "Hi, who the
fuck are you? Yeah,
and who do you not remember who you used to be?
Yeah,
like I'm modeling all of my behavior on who you used to be, and now you're this person. This person's not cool. You have to step up. These were your mates. These were your family. This is what you do.
Like the galaxy's at stake here. Like we need your help.
That's right." And so he finally steps up. And can we talk? I mean, hell, Geordi. LeVar Burton, sir, that is a handsome man. I am so sorry, but he is aged better than all of them. He looks fantastic.
He looks amazing.
Cut and beard. And yeah, dude, he looks well done, LeVar Burton.
He looks amazing.
Very, very well, young man.
And an awesome scene when he beams in and he makes that whole speech about, I don't know if I should slap you or if I should hug you, And they're like, well, which one's
Picard
it
goes
be?
To introduce his son, and Jordy's like, yeah, I don't have time for that bullshit.
Yeah, we
got to go have a chat.
Yeah. No, I loved it. I think it was a perfect way to bring him in, and now he's in. Right now he's on the Titan, and now they're at it again. Right.
I think this helps to answer, by the way, our hierarchy talk that we were talking about last episode too. Clearly, nobody on the Titan, including Admiral Picard, could just order Geordi to do what they want him to do.
No.
So clearly, especially at his place, if they're going to the museum, there's one big swinging dick there, and it's Commodore Geordi La Forge. Yeah. Although the scene with Shaw, former engineering Captain Shaw, stumbling over his words and basically fanboying over Geordi La Forge.
That was funny.
Man. Come on. They're giving this Shaw guy. Shaw and Riker get all the best lines.
Yeah, it was great to see Geordi back. He has the new uniform.
He does.
That we've seen in a lot of the promo shots. Although he has the regular uniform, not the leather jacket, which I don't understand. I haven't seen anybody.
Yeah,
was Rafi wearing it today?
Rafi was wearing it today.
It's fucking so nice.
Oh, no, that leather jacket's dope as shit. Yeah, that's... Whew.
That's what they should all be wearing. Like, I don't understand. Like, that should just be their uniform. It looks so good.
Anybody wants to sponsor the after show here to be wearing those dope ass leather jackets, we will happily brand
we'll
for
them.
you.
Yeah, we'll wear
100%. We
yes,
will
yes,
absolutely
yes.
corporate shill for you in a heartbeat. Beautiful. Okay, so Geordi gets on board.
So
they
Geordi
have the
gets
whole
on board,
conversation,
and they have the
nobody can
conversation.
convince him but his estranged daughter, who finally convinces him. And then, of course, Geordi has to swing into action because we then
have
get
a cloaking device.
We then get what could be the best Starship nostalgia scene in Trek history. We see, for you, as soon as the first ship they point at, I'm like, JS is losing his fucking mind. We see the Defiant. We see the Enterprise A. I'm getting I legitimately have goosebumps over the Enterprise A.
Yeah. We see Voyager.
And that was really, really cool. That was really nice that they do a segue over to 7. You hear the Voyager music in the background. She talks about how that was her ship and that's where she was reborn and that was her family. Fucking brilliant. So good. And is there a girl on this ship that Jack Crusher isn't going to flirt with? I'm curious because first he's flirting with Sydney La Forge, and then he's flirting hard with 7 of 9, and she's like, she chuckled. When was the last time we heard 7 chuckle, like laugh at somebody's whatever whimsy? I was like, our boy Jack got some moves. Like he bringing some game onto that Titan ship. Whoo. Yeah, crazy. And then we find out, and then we go to Daystrom. The away team is at Daystrom, and then what do we learn, JS? Who is running the AI system? Who is the lethal AI at Daystrom? Who is that?
Well, it's not it's a combination of B4, lore, and of course, Data.
And Lal.
Apparently. Yeah.
Everybody that's been a positronic Soongian and Alton Soong. Apparently, there's some Alton Soong in there too.
Yeah, so that's where I have an issue. How many fucking Soongs are there? Right?
I mean, lot.
That is the
Soong from season 1, though.
Is he though?
Yes. That is. He mentions it right off the bat. The golem that I made.
Right, for Picard.
So
Right.
that is Alton Soong is the Soong that was in season 1.
Because my understanding was that one of the reasons Soong was building these androids is because he eventually wanted to be able to transfer his consciousness into one because he was dying.
Right.
He had no family, he had no offspring, and he was dying. But then you find out that he does have offspring, and then there's like 14 Soongs that all look like Brent Spiner.
Yeah.
They all look the same.
The seed is strong.
Seed is very strong. Like, you know,
I don't care.
Like
you know what, man? I get it. It's a plot contrivance, but it means we've gotten more Brent Spiner over the years, so I'm actually okay with it. Like,
it's one of those things where it's like, okay, like we don't need another song. Like, I can understand if they decided that, okay, the people at Daystrom were trying to rebuild Data. Right? And they were using parts of the positronic network of lore and B4 to rebuild Data. And that's why all 3 consciousness are stuck together. That would have been, for me, a way better plot device.
Right.
Then somehow it's a human Soong. It's a human. It's a human Soong.
I don't know why you turned into a Frankie there for a brief moment.
That's been somehow augmented with positronics. So there's him in there. The human.
Right. Yes.
There's Data. There's Lol. There's B4, and there's lore. All inside this human and it's like, what?
This animated part. I think it would have been really easy for them because this season is so different from seasons 1 and 2. It would have been really easy for them to just like pretend that season 1 and 2 didn't happen. And while they've kind of mostly ignored season 2, they've leaned pretty heavily into what's gone on in season 1.
They are very.
They've mentioned several times about Picard having a positronic body. They mentioned it several times in this episode. In fact, Jack.
Well, there's a reason why now we know why they've been mentioning it constantly. Right. Now we know why they need you to know.
Right.
He's not the original Picard, right? It's not his original body.
That's right. Because now, spoiler alert, the changelings have Picard's original body.
That's what they stole from Daystrom Station.
I don't know what that gets them other than the fact that it will allow them, I guess, to flawlessly mimic Picard, but I mean, I got the sense that they were at a point where they could just flawlessly mimic anybody now, that with some simple contact. So I don't know what that gets them per se, which again is good because this show does keep me guessing. And I think you're right. We still haven't seen the big bad yet. And there's only 4 episodes to go. So I'm curious as to who that's going to be. I actually don't have a problem with this. Was the best way to bring an aged Brent Spiner into the show without season 1 trying to make him look younger and not doing a very good job. So make him
I don't know why they wouldn't just
an organic positronic.
Yeah,
they can't afford to de-age him if he's going to be in a whole bunch of scenes over the next 4 episodes. It could be way too expensive on whatever budget they have. So it's a weird choice, I get that, but I don't hate it. It's going to depend on how it plays out, right? Because it was cool watching him switch personalities, especially
that was amazing when he goes to lore.
From as soon as he was lower, you knew immediately
you knew right away he was lower.
Yeah. So that part was cool.
Brent Spiner's amazing. I fucking love that man.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I don't know him for a lot other than Data, but man, he's amazing. Like you said, just the switch in his face, you could right away. Fuck, it's lore, right? It was amazing.
Yeah. By the way, if you want a good giggle as well, go to YouTube and type in Brent Spiner impersonates Patrick Stewart, because he pulls it out whenever he goes to a con. He's got an amazing Patrick Stewart impression. Brent Spiner does. Do yourself a favor and go onto YouTube and check it out.
I don't think I've ever seen that, but I'm going to go check it out after.
It's fantastic. It's so good. It's like Mark Hamill whenever he does his Harrison Ford impression. It's fantastic. Yeah. So I don't know that there was this. No. Okay. So
we're not done.
No, I know. So Riker gets captured.
You find out that Vadic is actually posing as a Starfleet security officer on Daystrom Station. Mm-hmm. Captures Riker. And who's missing so far?
Yeah, Troy.
There's somebody surprisingly missing from this show so far.
Has been Troy. We've seen a very brief glimpse of her.
Very brief glimpse of Troy.
She was in the materials to launch the show. Like she was in the trailers and such. So now we finally see some Troy.
Now we know why.
Yep. But is it Troy?
Well, is it Troy? Folks, at the end, Riker gets brought on to is it the Shrike? The Shriek? I can't remember now. I think it's a Shrike.
The Shrike, yeah.
The Shrike.
Yeah.
He gets brought onto the Shrike, gets thrown into he's like, you idiots, you can beat me as much as you want, but
he's like 35 years of loyalty, and I'm gonna flip on my family for you. Yeah, I don't think so.
She's like, no, you're not gonna flip on them for us. You're gonna flip on them for her. And the cell opens,
and there's Deanna.
Standing in the cell, looking at him like, oh, Will, like you had to go get caught, you fucking moron.
So here's my question to you, because here's what I need, and we don't have it yet. We have all 7 of them technically on the show now, right? But they're not on the ship together,
right?
And they still haven't been on the ship together, because now we have 3 of them on the ship now, 4 of them. We have Geordi, Worf, Picard. And now I guess the Data
Crusher.
Lore and Crusher.
And Lore.
So we have we have 5 of them. We just don't have Riker and Troy. So I need them to go get them. And Worf's little thing, like, be it Ben nor Beast nor sleet nor snow or whatever, will not stop me from going to get Will Riker. But I need them all together, man. I need a glory shot. I need like that Star Trek 6 Undiscovered Country where they're all on the bridge.
I have a feeling you are not going to get that.
Hey, listen, there's 4 episodes to go. Okay? Don't tell me that. Don't tell me you brought them all back together just to not have one fucking scene when they're all together. I need that. I can't not have that. Gotta have it.
I mean, I would love to see it. Don't get me wrong.
It has to. They have to fly off into the fucking, now, okay, hold on. Let me ask you this. Why do they keep talking about the new Enterprise being decommissioned? Why does that keep coming up?
I don't know, but we haven't even seen it yet.
I know, and we know we're going to, because again, same thing. It was in the trailers.
Because would be the Enterprise
F,
right? Which would be they
Odyssey
called it
class,
Odyssey class. Yeah.
Yeah, pulled from the Star Trek Online game, but they've mentioned it several times in the show already that it's due to be decommissioned prematurely, and nobody knows why. Come on, man, put the 7 of them on that ship and let them just fly off into the
steal the ship and take off.
Second star to the right and straight on the board. Like, just why can't I have? You've given me so much fan service up until now. You've given me almost everything I've wanted. Just give me that, man. I don't care if they're just going down to the Pizza Hut. Just put them all on the bridge of the ship and just let them fly off together. Is that so much to ask? This is the last thing. This is the last. We have 4 episodes, guys. We have 4 episodes left, and then there's no more of this. We're finally getting what is essentially an 8th season of TNG or a 4th movie of TNG. You can't end it. No one gets to die. You just put them all on the goddamn bridge of the ship. Let them fly off. That's all I need. I don't care if the next scene you see it blow up. That's fine. I just need all of them on the ship.
I just want to hear Worf say, "It's the Enterprise," as it warps in. Yeah, I don't know.
Now, how many people are going to bitch about there being too much fan service in this episode because everything was an Easter egg? I'm sure there's going to be some people that are complaining about it, but
big Easter egg we haven't talked about.
You mean the attack tribble?
Well, before the attack tribble.
They have someone else's remains there over at that Daystrom there.
That don't look like their remains. Should we say it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so guys, so when they get into Daystrom, they're showing us a bunch of little Easter eggs of things that Section 31 is storing there. One of the first things,
Section 31 Black Site is what they finally kind of described this as. So
yeah.
Everyone knows about it, so I don't know how it's a black site, but regardless.
Yeah, so they showed us this genetically engineered tribble that obviously goes after Worf. The minute Worf walks into the room, that tribble jumps at the window, and it's got fucking teeth like a fucking piranha in there. Just before that, they show us the screen of a pod, and it says James T. Kirk, and it looks like it's got life signs. Just saying.
Is that what it looked like? Where you get the impression that there was life signs?
I'm getting the impression Kirk is not dead. That's kind of what they were throwing out there. That, I mean, he's dead, but is he? I don't know.
Because there's also, by the way, I don't know if you noticed it or not, because it was also very, very brief. They had a Genesis device in there too.
The first thing that Riker looks at is the Genesis device that's sitting there, which I thought was weird because the Genesis device blew up. So they had multiple Genesis devices?
The prototype, but I imagine all the data, all the relevant whatever, there would have been logs, there would have been, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know, you would think
David
that
tried to keep as much of that in-house as you possibly could, but
yeah, I mean, you would think that once that blew up, that was it, that they weren't going to make another one. Even if they had the data, they knew how dangerous it was now.
I'm kind of watching this scene back now. He goes to the first pod, and I can't see what's on the screen of the first pod, but yeah, the next pod is the Genesis device, which is funny because the screen for it blinks out almost immediately, and then inside you can see the actual Genesis device.
Yeah.
Fucking wild. It's hilarious that we get the HMS Bounty as one of the starships, the Klingon bird of prey, that they hijack and seal in Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. So
they pulled right out of San Francisco
Bay. So it does
Bay.
say James T. Kirk, and you can see his skeleton on the screen. I don't know.
No.
I'm gonna have to see if I can get like a screenshot and a blow up, because I'm not seeing actual life set. Like they have like it's definitely like a cutaway of his physical body. Yeah, it doesn't have like a pulse thing or a heartbeat.
Well, either way.
There's numbers and letters on it. That could be, I don't know, but yeah.
Either way,
wild.
They have Kirk's remains if he is dead.
Crazy. How many movie references they had in there? That the original movie references they had in there with the Enterprise A, with the Bird of Prey, the HMS Bounty. If you're an old school, by the way, if you're an old school Trekkie, if you are a Trekkie, if you are like, I hate all the new Trek, blah, 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 if you're one of those, watch this season of Picard. If this doesn't get you on board, I question, I apologize, but I question your Trekness, because this is Trek. I don't even know how to describe it. This is the closest thing we've had since TNG to getting to the true essence of what Trek is. This is like, this is right up there with Strange New Worlds, man. I'm sorry. This might be better. This might be better than Strange New Worlds because it has all this to draw upon, and it's not being shy with putting in every reference.
So I want to make a little asterisk there. I don't think that the storytelling is necessarily better than Strange New Worlds. But when you take the story that they're telling and you pepper it with all of the Easter eggs and all of the fan service and all of the callbacks and all of the little things that they're doing for the me and yous of this world.
No, it's
I don't know how you compare that, right? Like
you can't because they have so much rich history. And that's why I love Star Trek in a lot of cases, because you have all this rich history to draw upon. And when they do that, when they don't try to distance themselves from it, like they kind of did in season 1 and 2 with just little winks and nods here and there, but when they really fully embrace it and then base everything around that, it's perfect. This show, they made this show for us, and I'm here
Trek
for it
again.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
You know?
Said it, man. You're more of a Trekkie now than you have been at any point in your life.
Yeah, I think so.
It's the best time. We're having the best time. I'm going to be so sad in 4 weeks, man. I'm not going to know what to do with myself.
When was the last time, up until last year, when was the last time that somebody asked you what your favorite TV show was and you said Star Trek?
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It's been
like 30 years ago.
It's been a minute.
Like for me, my favorite show hasn't been Star Trek since Enterprise went off the air. Right? And even then, I was wavering a little bit.
Yeah.
Now I'm fully bought in again.
I still can't believe there were original series references. Mm-hmm. There were original series movies, heavy original series. A ton of
original series references. There was a Genesis device.
Yes.
The
Enterprise A.
The Enterprise A. The ship,
HMS Bounty.
Ship, the Bounty.
James T. fucking Kirk.
James Kirk. Yeah.
Like crazy town that we're getting all that. Then you get a Tribble from the original series. Then, of course, all the different TNG references. You get a Voyager reference. You get a DS9 reference. Dude, man, it's like the Trek that guys, this, I don't know, man.
For sure.
We may still get something. Yep. Who knows? Because now we got to rescue Riker and we still have to find out who's behind all this. So... And what the end goal is with Picard's body and all that jazz. Like, we still have some unanswered questions.
Yeah, we still don't know why they wanted to steal Picard's body. Why the whole distraction? Why blowing that much shit to get to Picard's body? Do you think, and this is I'm Hail Mary here.
Yeah, give it, because I'm clueless.
Do you think that Picard's body may somehow be a link to the Collective?
That's the only other thing that I could possibly think of, is that because it was once Locutus, but then
because now there's that thing in space, right?
Right.
That the new Borg Queen is looking over and making sure whatever's on the other side isn't coming through. What if that big bad is on the other side of that, and the whole point is to get him through?
See, I just saw something the other day that was still talking like there are two different Borgs, essentially.
It sounds like there is at this point.
Yes, there is like these friendly Borg that she's in charge of, and then there's still the actual Borg that are out there.
Yeah.
Because now the timeline has been irrevocably changed since that second season or whatever, since all the time travel, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. But yeah, I did think of the Borg connection. I don't know. Like, I don't... Because like I said, them being able to flawlessly copy Jean-Luc Picard, what is that? He said he had some sway, but he's still a retired admiral. Like, he had to lie his way into a starship. It's not like he can just walk around and just do whatever the fuck he wants. Like, that's not...
and I mean, I think everybody knows now that Picard is positronic now. He's an android, right? He's not human anymore. So
I don't know
what would be the point of cloning a human Picard, right?
I don't know. I don't know how that somehow ties into Jack. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's still a lot of questions they got to answer in 4 episodes, but it does feel like the tunnel is narrowing. It does feel like
it is narrowing. We did get some answers today, which was nice.
And now I feel like we've seen everybody too. Like, we finally have Brent Spiner.
We've finally seen everybody.
We finally have Mira Nasirtis. We finally have Geordi. We finally have everybody. And they're at least within proximity, like everybody knows where everybody is, type of thing. So now we just have to figure out how they're all going to work together to solve whatever mystery is.
Hey, and let's remember, the Titan now has a cloaking device. No, it's an old-ass 30-year-old
very
cloaking
old
device.
cloaking device, but yes, they have a cloaking device.
But they have a cloaking device, so
and it must work because they were able to cloak. That's the first thing Shaw says. They warp in, they engage it, and he's like, they can't see us.
They haven't seen us yet. So it's like, well,
well,
make sure they don't and get them out of here. Well, we got to lower the cloak to beam them out. Well, then do it quick.
that's how this works.
You
That
know?
was very reminiscent of Nemesis.
Yeah.
The ship flying along the superstructure and then beaming them out or whatever. That was very reminiscent of Nemesis. So that was cool. Yeah. So many callbacks in this episode. So many.
Yeah, it was a very good episode.
She's going through the ships on her console and he's rhyming them off. And then as soon as they get to Voyager, he's like, oh, what's that one? And then you hear the fucking music and she gets all, come on.
Yeah,
what do you want?
Mean? You know all these ships, but you don't know Voyager? Like, really?
What do you people want? If you want more than this, I don't know what to tell you because this is as good as it gets, kids. You're not going to get Trek better than this. Live it up now. Soak up the juices of this season of Picard because you're never going to get this again. This is the pinnacle. This is the peak. They can't outdo It's like Endgame. It's like No Way Home. How do
never
you beat this?
Say never.
How do you beat this? You
never
can't.
Say never.
I'm sorry.
Because me and you have said it multiple times now.
I know,
we would love a spin-off.
A spin-off would be great.
So the door
I don't know if it
closed,
would be this.
Right?
I don't know if it could be as good as this, man. This is, man, when he's flashing back to that whistling scene on the holodeck with Data, you're not going to have another moment in any show that's like that. To me, that's
the Moriarty scene where we see Moriarty. He ends up just being a projection of Data's mind. Data is the AI protecting Daystrom Station. And when he recognizes Riker, he glitches, and it's Moriarty that materializes. And then you hear the notes. He's like, oh, that's an F flat. Oh, that's a C major. Oh, that's trying to figure out what those notes meant until you hear a couple of them in a row. And then he automatically gets the flashback to episode 1, Encounter at Farpoint, when Will Riker first meets Data in the holodeck. And Data's trying to whistle. What's the name of that song?
Pop Goes the Weasel.
Pop Goes the Weasel. And Riker finishes it for him because he can't whistle, right? With his android lips. Yeah, they're really
I'm trying to hold it together
all the
right
nostalgia
now,
feels, but
just thinking about it. I'm getting glassy-eyed just thinking about it because for a moment it was 1987 again, and I was a 14-year-old impressionable boy watching something that I didn't know was going to turn out to be a gigantic part of my life. The first episode of a brand new Star Trek show, for the first time that we got a first episode of a brand new television Star Trek show that would go on for 7 seasons, that would change Trek forever.
That 30 years later, we're still watching.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And the way they work that in flawlessly. I gotta find
Terry
out
Metalis.
No. Murdering it.
You are a fucking god.
Now,
you are
okay.
a genius.
All right. I will only say this. This is what I'm going to leave on. I mentioned in some of the early episodes, for season 1 and season 2 of Picard, it is typical for stations and studios to send out screeners of a new show to critics ahead of time. For season 1 and season 2, they only sent out the first 2 episodes to all those critics. And by and large, those critics were like, actually, this is okay. And then, of course, both of those seasons kind of fell off a cliff after that. For this one,
because the first 2 episodes were okay.
And
then the rest were shit.
Right. This season, they sent out the first 6. And everybody, even people that shit on the first 2 seasons, were like, okay, now they finally got it. Now it's right. Well, now we're at that point. Now we're all holding hands and finding out together. No one's got any more advanced knowledge anymore, because some of the little off shows I've been watching be like, well, we can't tell you what's going on here because that would give away spoilers for what we know because we've seen the first 6 episodes. Please don't fall off a cliff. Okay. Please. There's only 4 episodes to go. You've done so well. Please don't fall off a cliff and just maintain what we have. Please. That's all I got. That's all I can say.
Any final words? Any final thoughts on Picard episode 6?
if I talk about it anymore, I'm going to start to cry, and I don't want to cry on YouTube. JS, take us out of here, will you?
Yeah, I think that's going to be it. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Stay geeky, everybody.